candles for bushcraft. It's a mixed bag. So we have different kinds of candles, and there's a lot of confusion about the types that are out there. Mainly because there's a lot of hybrid candles that use lots of different materials. The most notable would be the paraffin candles, like this one. This is probably the most affordable of the candles that are offered. This pretty much is 100% paraffin, and they come in various types of quality. There are some that are very unrefined and some that are very refined. These paraffin candles, though, they have about 1/3 of the runtime as 100% beeswax. When you light these, they will start dripping. Unlike various types of more refined soy-based candles, and of course, beeswax is definitely known to not be dripping or have the drip effect. And so you get less runtime, you get dripping, and the less refined of these you get, the more you have of a suet problem. You know, it's the suet builds up in the environment. It could be on the lantern if this is in a candle lantern, or maybe against glass in the room or wherever. So if there's an issue that you don't want suet buildup, you want to avoid the less refined paraffin candles. Now, the less refined you get, the more you get into petroleum products. There's a lot of different variations of these, so it's very hard to put a blanket statement of what paraffin is. It is a byproduct to some degree of petroleum, some more so than others, depending on, once again, how refined the product are. Now, you also have, like I just mentioned, the soy-based candles. They as well can be a hybrid of petroleum products or paraffin mixed in with the soy. But the higher grade, very refined soy candles aren't too bad. They run about half, of the runtime as 100% beeswax candle, which is better than what you would say a paraffin candle would be. So the paraffin, once again, runs at about 1/3. The soy, about half of course, the beeswax candles. Now, the soy, though, you can get them in scented, a lot more different kinds of scents than you could maybe like in a paraffin. But the soy, though, it's also a mixed bag. They do sometimes have drippage problems, and it just depends on the quality. Once again, the cost is a big factor. This is a big problem when it comes to candles, because people will default, especially for those. This is, of course, a bushcrafting type of video. They want something that is affordable, and the paraffin or the lower grade, unrefined or less refined candles are typically what you get. You can get a pack of like these, for example. These are 5.5 hour, runtime paraffin candles. You can get, like, let me see how many came in the box. 6 of these for like $1. And so it's very appealing. But once again, the runtime is very low compared to a beeswax candle. But you can get 10 times the amount of candles for the money than a beeswax candle. So that's just typically how it goes. Usually it's about 10 times more expensive for beeswax, and anywhere from 4 to 6 times more expensive for a good quality soy-based candle. So it just depends, once again, where you go and where you get them and what brand and quality. But that's just kind of the rule of thumb. Now, because this is a bushcraft video, I just want to compare this. This is just kind of what I prefer for my candles, for being a portable candle. And you can see it's almost exactly the width and diameter of my thumb. And so these are very compact types of candles. Now, this right here is a little large in terms of height, or you can call it length, depending on how you look at it. But you can cut these down. Some people cut these in thirds or in half. And so it just depends on your outing and what your primary use of these are. Some people use these to extend the flame instead of just burn up a lot of matches. Maybe it's a little more windy outside and you want to extend the life of that flame. You can just take your match, light this candle, and maybe your tinder is slightly more moist than you, or more damp than you would need, and you're trying to just warm that up. So you can use the candle. So you can also use this to repair canvas, nylon, polyester packs, tents, and tarps. If there's a small puncture, you can just light this, especially the paraffin, since it's so easy to melt and drip. You can just drip a few drops on both sides if you can, or at least on one side, and create a temporary patch for your gear. And lastly, you can use this for ambient lighting. And these are not what you would consider the most powerful or a very good option, really, in the modern day for aerial lighting. It only puts out a few lumens, and so unless you have a reflector or what they call a candle lantern, you're not going to get really very much efficiency out of these guys. Just like you wouldn't do very good on cooking food or boiling water, you can still do it in small amounts, if you will. But you have to be mindful. You might want several candles, and you'd want the actual shelf that the cooking pots are on to be pretty close to the flame, and it's going to take you a long time to cook your food. So I just wanted to mention that the candle is really an underrepresented item in the bushcraft world. It used to be like it was just kind of like that's what you had, before flashlights and headlamps and the modern versions of lanterns. It used to be candles and oil-based lanterns, and at least in the last several hundred years before the modern era. And so I'm just saying, if you want a traditional loadout of bushcraft, don't forget your candles. So as with that, you guys take care. Stay tuned. We're going to have other tips and other gear highlights concerning bushcraft in the traditional sense coming up real soon. Thanks for your support.